Hey everybody, welcome to today's Local Yokels podcast. I'm Neil, your host, and before we get started, I just want to remind y'all about the Jeep we're giving away through the Fancy Nancy Foundation on behalf of the House of the Grace, in partnership with Spider Off-Road, MSJ, we got Duckworthy, let's see who else we got on there. Oh, Roofworks. I don't ever want to forget about them because I can't do anything without them. But go check that out, FancyNancyFoundation.com. Or find it on Facebook, same thing, Fancy Nancy Foundation, and get you a ticket. They're cheap, $20 a ticket, and I think if you buy the packages, it works all the way down to about $14.50 a ticket. All the proceeds are going to go towards fighting domestic violence. So, and the House of Grace is our focus on this one. All right, guys, check it out. Thank you. Without further ado, my guest today, Mr. Lance Smith with XC Gear. I almost said Lance XC Gear. That's what I was trying to say. Yeah. But welcome today, brother. Appreciate you coming in.
Oh, it's a pleasure. I'm here on the first day.
Yeah, on the first day of the new studio. That's right. I was going to say that. SRP Studios, Hernando, Mississippi. Check them out. We got multiple shows that film in this studio. And, from Motivated with Coach Camp, Fight Stories with the Bar, the Rhythm section. I think they got the Real Hernando. There's quite a few. Yeah. But the main one you're worried about today is the Local Yokels podcast. That's right. So because
that's the only one I follow.
That's the only one you follow.
That's the one I follow.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. By the way, Lance has a unique business that is homegrown right here in our area. You actually live in Hernando. Your business is your warehouse, I should say, where you do your business in Coldwater. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, tell people about what you do, Lance, and what the main focus of your business is.
So I guess the main thing that we're known for is our handlebar mount. So I designed and developed and patented a handlebar mount back in 2016, and we sell that thing all over the world. We've been blessed selling it all over the world. And then 3 years ago, we started developing a seat system for the sprint cars.
Yeah, so let's be clear real quick, just so we know what we're talking about for people who ain't familiar with XC Gear. Motorcycles, they're dirt bikes, race bikes, whatever. And maybe even just your pleasure bike that you have that you trail ride with. It doesn't matter, but you create handlebar mounts and things that are better as far as the transitioning of inertia through your body. They're just more easy to drive, better on your body. Something the manufacturers could have done, but you just seen a better way to do it.
Yeah.
So bushings. They're like polymer bushings that you include in these mounts and things like that. And same things with the sprint car seats, because you did gravitate into that side of the world too, because of your friend Dale Howard, that is a national champion sprint car racer. Right. You sponsor his car, and then y'all came up with the monkey bar system for that. Right. So, so when we start out talking about this, I just want to clarify what he does, because we just said XC Gear, and I don't know if everybody knows what that is, So
yeah, it's hard to believe.
Yeah.
I meet people all the time, and they're like, so. I mean, you make enough of those things to make a living? Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, there's a lot of we make a lot of them. It's nonstop. It's unbelievable. But they ride dirt bikes in every country of the world.
Yeah, everywhere.
So it's a crazy, I'm not into every little industry, but I probably would be amazed to find out somebody else makes something and, the bow fishing industry that they could make a living off of or whatever. But
new idea on an old product that makes it just better. Right. You know what I mean? That's kind of what you come up with, you know. With that being said, like I said, you're all over the country now. XC Gear is a big name in the business. People are coming after you for your products, and especially in the dirt bike world and motocross, I guess is a lot of it, right?
It's mostly off-road.
Is it mostly?
Yep. Yeah. Mostly the GNCC guys, enduro guys, trail ride guys, adventure bike guys. We don't do that much in the motocross world.
Okay. I guess because they just come already, they're building them to the max already. Yeah. Yeah, when they got them racing. So I got you. So it's mostly for people who are weekend warriors or whatever. They're out there just trail riding enduros, like you said. When you're on the road with those bikes, I grew up riding enduros, a lot of them. I was big into the enduros. That's what I called them. Now they call them, what's the new name for them?
Hair scrambles?
Maybe.
Grand National Cross Country?
Something, man. They got kind of different bikes, but like I know They got different names for them these days, but back when I was a kid in the 80s, that's, they had, what we're talking about is a dirt bike with blinkers. That's kind of pretty much what it is. Dual Sport. That's the new name, the Dual Sport. Yeah.
Right.
When I looked up an enduro bike a couple years ago, I couldn't even find one, and finally I realized, they're calling them Dual Sports now is what they're calling them.
They call them Dual Sports.
Yeah, what it was an endurance bike, so to speak, to where you could just do anything. You could dirt track with it, and you could ride it on the road, and that's what I liked, because my little wild butt wanted to be on the highway, everywhere I could get to, and I could get off the road. It's kind of what I did, and be legal. That was the thing. So, and then of course, you got your dirt bikes too. There's a lot of guys that trail ride with straight up dirt bikes, and I know that you help them as well with their products and needs. So is it primarily just the handlebar systems that you're working with on the dirt bikes?
Primarily now is the handlebar system. It's in different iterations of that. So we do the guy that just wants what we call a straight Mako, and then we've got all kinds of ways to run stabilizers, steering stabilizers with the Mako, computer systems with the Makos, telephones with the Makos. So everybody, it's dirt biking's real personalized, and everybody wants a little bit different thing. And so we've got a lot of different combinations. When we first started, we just had 2 SKUs.
Yeah.
Well, if you count the foot pegs, I guess we had 4 SKU numbers when we started, and I don't know how many SKU numbers we got now.
Right, a bunch. So everybody can personalize their bike.
Right.
Yeah. So as you do everything from the grips to the clutch levers to the foot pegs, everything. Like you got pretty much.
We actually quit making the foot pegs. What started the business was the foot pegs, and we quit manufacturing them over a year ago.
Oh wow.
I know, it's crazy. It's and I hated to let it go, but my wife kept telling me, we need to quit we need to quit doing the foot pegs. And when we were doing the foot pegs full force, they still only represented 6% of our gross income.
Right.
Which is crazy. And they were a lot of work and a lot of trouble. And then after we quit doing it, I was
we'll give her a shout out real quick, because she has the most business sense of everybody, it looks like.
My wife.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. She stands back and looks. She's a very good partner.
What's her name?
Lisa.
That's what I said. Give her a shout out, since she's the mind behind the business. Yeah.
That's my wife.
Lisa, good job. Got rid of the foot pegs.
Yeah, because a lot of businesses are built on passion. Yeah. So I'm real passionate about.
Yeah, and then she's a sense.
And she comes back sometimes. It's like, I don't know about that. It really doesn't make a lot of business sense.
Sure.
And then she pushes me sometimes too. Yeah. Like I've been dragging my feet on one of the projects we're working on now. I've been dragging my feet for a little while. Well, for probably about 4 years on something. That's
a little while. Yeah.
Yeah. She's like, you need to get that going.
Oh, cool.
And so we've started it.
That's awesome.
And we need new projects, we need them all the time.
Well, 10 years worth of innovation and building a business to where you have it now, it's pretty amazing that it survives that long. That's a long time for a business, and you're thriving all the time, like you're growing, and so one of the things when I discovered you, it was way before, I knew about you. I didn't realize you were so local at the time. I was following you on TikTok, and I thought, probably the algorithm just picked up on where I live, it's kind of what happened. And I thought, man, this is so cool. He's making like polymer bushings for handlebars. I said, man, I wished I had those back in the day. They were so stiff, and you'd feel everything through your hands and shoulders, and you found a way to alleviate that, because you grew up riding bikes, and you realized the things that you wished were better.
Right.
That's just cool that you come up with concepts like that. So would you say most of your business now is geared towards bikes, or is it kind of transitioning back and forth between that and sprint cars?
It's transitioning to the sprint cars too.
By the way, if anybody don't know about sprint cars, open-wheeled sprint car racing, the ones like go-karts, they're like little rockets. They're like, I don't even know how they do it. I couldn't even get in one. Now, you could get in one, but like Dale's on the big side for getting in one of those cars.
He is on the larger side.
Absolutely, and he's an amazing driver. There's other people around here too. I know that Howard Moore, people like that are in the game. It's big from this area that you probably help a little bit too, or maybe they use your products. Everybody that's in the game are looking for that product. You got something unique. Tell people about that a little bit.
So the sprint car was the monkey bar system. Actually, the monkey bar system is named after my wife's dad, who everybody, he's on my shirt right here.
Okay.
So everybody that knew him called him Monkey Harris. That's how we ended up naming it, but he loves sprint cars. So Monkey is the one that gave Dale Howard his first money to buy his first car.
That's amazing.
Back 40-something years ago. Or
Pretty
whatever,
young.
40 years ago.
Probably 30. Yeah, probably 30, I'm guessing. Dale's like 50.
Yeah, that's right. So it would have been probably 30 years ago.
Yeah.
A
while. Yeah. It was a while ago. Yeah.
So Dale's daddy, James, drove sprint cars. He drove sprint cars, because I think if your last name is Howard, you got to drive a sprint car. You got to drive a sprint car. It's just part of it around here. I think they all drive.
And they're not even related, by the way. I think some of them, like they're just happen to be in
some of them want to claim they're not related to the other ones.
Yeah,
but
it's hilarious.
I'd group them all together.
Do you? All of them. Yeah.
But Monkey owned cars, and Dale's daddy drove for him back years ago. And Dale knew, they were kids then, Lisa and Dale, they knew each other from all of that. And then, life goes on and everybody goes their separate directions, so they wasn't in touch for a long, long time. And how I got in a sprint car deal, we were working our normal business, we were in South Haven making the handlebar mounts and the foot pegs still at that time. And I had Brad McElhan working for me. And he was a sprint car driver. His little brother's a sprint car driver. His daddy was a sprint car driver. And he came into my office one day and sat down, just walked in and sat down and said, "Hey, you ever thought about doing anything different?" It's like, "Yeah, Brad, what do you mean by different?" And he said, "Well, have you ever thought about doing something in the sprint car world?" I said, "No." He said, "Well, I've got two of my friends that are paralyzed from sprint car wrecks. And I wish you'd look at the way that they put a seat in a sprint car, because I know you look at things a little bit differently, and I wish you'd look at it." And I said, okay. Well, how do they put seats in a sprint car? And so he told me, and then I just wheeled around to my laptop and started looking at seats and all that. I'm like, okay, I'll do some looking, Brad, and, we'll talk. And then the next day, I did some thinking that night and looking, and I said, "Hey, we need to go to a sprint car race." He's like, "Well, they're racing in West Memphis, Friday night. Let's go." So I went and got a pit pass and walked around in the pits and looked at everything, and then thought about it for a little while, and then I got it figured out. And I was like, "All right, Brad, I got it figured out how I'm going to do it. I need a sprint car. Yeah. And I need a seat." And he said, "I got a buddy of mine that lives not too far from here. His name's Dale Howard. He's got a bunch of cars and a bunch of seats and everything. Called Dale." And I said, "Man, I talked to Dale Howard. You talking about Dale Howard, the dirt man?" Yeah. He said, "Yeah, Dale Howard, dirt man." And I said, "Well, I actually talked to him about 2 years ago. He called me and needed some dirt off of a piece of property that I had. I don't have his number, but I do know him." He said, "Well, call Dale." I said, "Okay." So I called Dale Howard, and I had him on the phone, and my wife hears the name, Dale Howard. Right. She's in her office. And she walks across to my office, and she's motioned for me to cover the phone up. And I'm looking at her like, "What?" She's like, "Cover the phone up." And I said, "Okay." So I cover the phone up, and she said, "Ask him if he knows Monkey Harris." Because she hadn't talked to Dale 30-something years. She's wondering if it's the same Dale Howard. Right. And I said, "Okay." Yeah. And I just thought it was,
small world, man.
Stupid, whatever. And I said, "Hey, do you know a guy named Monkey Harris?" Yeah. And then
he's like, "Well, heck yeah."
Off he went. He's like, "How do you know Monkey Harris?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm married to his daughter." Wow. He's like, "Which one?" I was like, "Lisa." He's like, "Man, I hadn't seen her in forever, da-da-da-da." Long story, to get through that, one of those two people that Brad told me about several weeks before that was paralyzed from a sprint car was Dale's little brother, Josh. That's right. And so when I called, and of course, Dale doesn't know me. He doesn't know about our, the business, or we make things, and got CNC machines and 3D printers and SolidWorks. He doesn't know about any of that. And I said, "Hey, can I come look at your car? I got something I want to do." And with his brother being in the shape he was in and what happened to his brother, he was all in. But he didn't know. He didn't know what you was going to do. No, he didn't know me. Anything. Yeah. So I went and looked at his cars, and then he ended up bringing me a chassis to the shop and a seat. He brought the seat that Josh was paralyzed in. I still have it in my shop.
Well, that's important, because that you can see where it went wrong. Yeah.
Yep. And so Dale bought into it. So that's kind of one of those deals where, I can't help but tell you any other way. The Lord puts people in your life
for reasons.
For a reason. Yeah. Why did I call Dale Howard? Yeah. Of all the people for him to call, Monkey gave him some money, a long time ago. So he had that, a little bit, probably felt maybe at least give the guy a shot, a little bit obligated. Mm-hmm. And then my brother's paralyzed. I have to look at him in a wheelchair every day. Mm-hmm. This guy's trying to maybe fix this. Mm-hmm. He bought in. Yeah. He's like, yeah, I'm in. Yeah. And then we worked through it, and then I think he was probably surprised, I guess, like, hey, the guy actually did it,
Comes up with this great system to keep you from just pancaking your tail all the way around the racetrack.
So it was perfect match. Dale was into it, and gave me a bunch of feedback.
Well, he's got huge experience too. Like every day he's racing, he knows probably better than anybody, because he races so much, and he's really good too. I mean, like, I just don't fail to mention his accolades. He's pretty amazing race car driver.
He was the winningest 360 wing sprint car driver last year in the whole nation.
In the whole nation, I don't care what class, what organization, any of that. The whole nation.
He won more 360. They're cubic inch. They race those cars based on the engine size.
And he was a USCS champion last year.
National champion.
Yeah, national champion. And that was listen, dude's got a full-time job. Maybe a couple of them, actually. Two. Yeah, he runs hay and everything else, and then he goes racing.
Three if you count hay.
Yeah, for sure. So, like, he is passionate about it, and a lot of these guys race for a living. They do it full time, and he does that and works and everything else. So he's got a good group of folks around him. I don't know how he does it.
I don't know how he does it.
And he, especially at his age, not a lot of guys are winning at that level at 50 years old. Mm-hmm. Your bodies are starting to kind of, this, right? Mm-hmm. Like, so to go out and ride your dirt bike, you can't do the things you did 20 years ago. Nope. He's still doing it to another level. Most of his competitors are 25 to 30-year-old guys. It's pretty amazing.
20-year-old kids.
Yeah, absolutely. That's just, again, it just goes to show you that he's got something. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And so with that, he gives you the knowledge of what he'd like to see and what he feels. And so you can translate that into your 100%. Engineering. And so y'all come up with this product called the monkey bar system, because if you want to name it after, because at first I was confused. All right, is it a monkey bar like on a, like you think of that, you just think it's a bar, right? But in reality, it's a suspension system on the car to help with the seat. And when you land in an awkward position, if you have a bad wreck, or even just absorb the impact going around the racetrack, correct?
It does that too.
Yeah. So tell people really the engineering process of that and what it really helps.
So we had the three design parameters that we had with the monkey bars. One, these drivers are real. Just like your truck, you set your seat in your truck exactly the way you want.
He's talking about my dump truck, folks.
Your dump truck. You don't. If somebody got in there and raised it up or lowered,
jacked up.
You'd be all jacked up.
Yeah, I would be.
So these race car drivers are like that too. So their seat, they place that seat at a particular place. The seat's built so their elbows can turn the wheel and the whole thing. So you don't want to raise the seat. You want to raise the seat as little as possible. So we use 1 inch as being the design parameter. If I had 3 feet to work with, it's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah.
So, but you had to start with something. So
Tight parameters.
We'll use 1 inch. So 1 inch was a design parameter of raising the seat and off the back of the A-frame, because it's on the back of the seat too. The second thing is we tried to. There's not a lot of data out there on sprint car crashes, but we think that the worst crash that anybody's going to see in a sprint car is an 80G crash, is 80 Gs. So 1 inch, 80 Gs, and a typical sprint car driver weight of 170 pounds. So the three design parameters, 1 inch, 170 pounds, and the polymer fully compressed, use all of its travel at 80 Gs. So that was the design parameters.
Wow.
And we drop tested it actually to 420 Gs.
Wow. So it's over-engineered. It has to be. So, because one of the things I think about, like, when they're moving in the air and they're doing those endos, because, just Google that, folks. I said it on Dale's show. Google sprint car wrecks.
It's horrible.
They're violent, man, because, like, they become like a ball, of course, because they're, the cages are rounded off and the cars are kind of, I guess the curved, if you will, like in places where other cars might be straight, these things are like a round cage around you, kind of the way they're built. So they, they're short wheelbase, so they just become literally a rolling piece of machine. And when they stop, it's usually very abruptly, and they slam down. And I think that's probably what happened to Dale's brother, if I'm not mistaken, and it broke his back, correct?
Yeah.
Yep. So what you are trying to do from the most violent of situations when that car slams down like that, it absorbs the impact to where it doesn't travel. It takes the impact off of the driver. That's kind of what the goal is. It's amazing, because these things, if you think of a rigid, if people understand that terminology, like on a motorcycle with no suspension, it's it's just rigid. And that's kind of the way a sprint car is. They have very limited suspension because I think they have a little bit of spring here and there, but when it comes to it's just metal on butt. You know what I mean? It's kind of what it is. So, there's not a lot of give. And you think about that. They've been racing since the 40s and 50s. And
they hadn't changed that much.
And they hadn't changed that much. The horsepower, that's about it. That's it.
And the speeds of the track.
Yeah. So, that intensifies the wrecks tenfold, at times, And, I think they're getting like 140 mile an hour around some of them tracks, And you're talking about less than an eighth of a mile sometimes. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. So, you engineered this. So, have you seen... And I guess, the results, or I guess the proof's in the pudding. Like at the end of the day, are you seeing less injuries from that standpoint since y'all been implicating?
This was one of those products that we knew from the very beginning, or we talked about, openly discussed, that this is one of those products that we never may know who we help.
Yeah. It just don't have result. Like you just don't know. Yeah.
We get phone calls and letters, and people tell me, and I watch it on television too. And there's no really way to know who you helped, who would have been hurt, who wouldn't have been hurt. You get into a lot of things like, did they have pre-existing conditions, were they already injured?
But you can look at those wrecks sometimes and be like, oh my goodness, thank God he had that system on his car. You know what I mean? Right. I can definitely, that's what I mean. Like, I think that probably, like you said, it's probably just going to be an individual thing going, man, I'm glad I got that in my car. You know what I mean? Because I can definitely tell you the last time I had a wreck like that, I couldn't walk for a month.
I know.
That kind of stuff.
That's the stuff they say. Yeah, I wasn't sore. I don't bounce around in the car. My eyes aren't getting blurry, because their heads are.
Man, I don't know how. I tell Dale all the time, I've never ridden a sprint car, but I can only equivalent it to like a super fast go-kart. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And on the most worst surface ever. Like, it's the roughest surface ever.
Have you ever walked on one of those tracks?
Yeah, they're just hoop-de-doop. Yeah, they're grooved out. They look smooth on TV.
On TV and up in the stands, you're looking down, and it just looks like smooth. And you get down to the track, and
it's hard-packed clay.
It is hard
and
as
they got grooves, and those cars are hopping and jumping, and, and they might catch traction, if you want to call it that, at 120 miles an hour and jump a groove. It is violent. I'm going to say it's way worse than any NASCAR stuff. Like, that's why all those guys that go to NASCAR, they come back to race that because it's so challenging.
I know. Yeah. So one of our, he's our most famous, I guess, customer, customer, whatever, user of our product is Travis Pastrana.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody knows Travis and all the crazy stuff Travis has done. But Travis drove a sprint car last summer.
Okay.
And said, there's videos on YouTube and everything. It's the scariest thing he's ever done.
And he's done some shit. You know what I mean?
He's done a lot.
He's done a bunch of stuff. Yeah.
He is crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. To another level. Right now, we got this guy named Cletus McFarland, which is pretty cool, and everybody likes Cletus, but he's not on the level Travis is. Like, Travis is, I know Cletus and them do fast hot rod stuff and everything, but Travis Pastrana is, he will, from motocross, crazy stunts, rockets, you name it. This dude will do it all. Like, he's done it all. And I wouldn't call him Evel Knievel. He's just a racer in all kinds of aspects of things. And Daredevil. He's very talented.
He is definitely. I consider Travis a friend.
Do you? Okay, cool.
Yeah, Travis he's the coolest guy you ever met. And he's undoubtedly one of the most talented people in the world, to do all the things. He's been doing this for several years, but he races world rally events.
Yeah, that's the ones I love watching him.
He's crazy.
He's really good at that. Yeah.
He's really good at that. He races 2 different offshore powerboat classes.
That is fun. Yeah.
You seen him do that?
Yes, I've seen that. That's fun too. Yeah. I didn't actually know, I guess I didn't realize he did that part. I didn't.
Yeah. Yeah. He's won championships in off-road powerboat.
Oh, my gosh,
those big, long boats.
Cigarette boats.
Yeah, they're long as a square right up here we're sitting off of. They cover the whole square. Yeah. But, all the stuff Travis does, and super talented as he is, but I'll tell you this, after meeting Travis and knowing Travis and talking and working with Travis, all of Travis' success is not solely attributable to how talented he is. A bunch of it is.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of it is the way he treats people.
Right.
I'm telling you, he's
down to earth.
He's down to earth. Yeah. He's very appreciative. He's very nice. He is. You would just have to. You just kind of get, once you get to know Travis and the way he treats people and the way he is on all those videos that you watch, he's like that all the time.
Yeah, that's just his energy.
That's just his energy. That's what he's got, that stuff just coming out of his eyes, and he's just like that all the time.
So he helped put y'all on the map a little bit too with your product, I guess. He helps, promote that, and people see he's using it. And this is the ultimate of everybody. They're going to well, hey, if he's using this, I need to use it. That's probably where it helped y'all a ton. So
it helps a lot because everybody knows Travis's name. Just about. You hardly run into anybody that don't know who Travis Pastrana
Absolutely.
is.
Yeah, absolutely. He's amazing. Yeah. So, and I guess when you're talking about this, getting back to the sprint car races, we talk about how dangerous it is, and he obviously referenced the most dangerous thing, scared he's ever been, because it is out of control. I mean, it has to be. And you got to be cool as a cucumber to do it. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like Dale is a cool kind of guy. Like, he don't get too excited about nothing, and I think it takes that type of mentality. You think of the Kyle Larsons of the world, those guys are super successful at that because of, I think it's they're calm in the moment. Because if you lose your train of thought at that speed, and you think, well, yeah, but NASCARs and IndyCars, I'm like, it's different. It's just different. You're talking about a smooth track. This is a whole different thing, man. If you just think going in your backyard, and just taking a go-kart and just putting about, let's see here, like 10 times the amount of horsepower that it has currently, and just try to go in circles and laps over and over and over with no brakes, and just figure out, how you can do it better, how you can get faster. I don't think it's humanly possible. I mean, I really don't. The average person just can't do that.
No, they can't do it.
Yeah.
I would think Kyle Larson is still driving. I would think, I don't know this to be true, but it wouldn't surprise me to find out that he obviously gets paid a lot of money to drive NASCAR.
Oh, yeah.
I would bet you that he spends money to drive a sprint car.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean? It's that much fun for him.
He'll show up at tracks, just name his car, somebody will just say, hey, man, take my car. You know what I mean? And he'll win. That's the craziest thing. Yeah. And it's good for people like Dale, because you want to race against those top names.
You want to race against the best.
Yeah, you want to race against the best, like the Ricky Stenhouse Jr., that's a local guy that made it to NASCAR. Everybody knows him around here. Yeah. He started out with Dale and them, racing sprint cars back in the day, and
riding dirt bikes.
And those kind of guys, they always kind of gravitate back to the sprint car side, because it's real, man. It's like, it's fans, yes, but it's raw and it's real, and it's it's amazing. And of course, when you step it up from 360s to 410s, that's a whole nother game. Like, that's wild there.
That thing's trying to kill you.
It is, literally.
The whole time you're in it.
Have you drove one?
No.
And you don't want to. Dale said he runs them. He likes them. He said, I just love 360s, And I'm like, well, man, you good at it. I don't know what to tell you,
The 360s are unbelievable, too. But
well, I mean, they're running 650, 700 horsepower or something like that.
Yeah. I would say that. Yeah,
but I mean,
it's more than that. I would think they're probably 700 to 750.
I want to say the 410s are 950.
Yeah,
like they're out there. They're like, I mean, and again, not much difference in the size of the vehicles. It's just horsepower, And like they used to have a Series 305s. They run those a little bit back in the day. There again, probably a 550 horsepower vehicle, but it seems 360s are like right there in the middle where it's, I think, cost probably has to where it is, like 410s are super expensive,
right?
And it tends to be, those guys are grouped in a, like World of Outlaws, or I know that Kyle Larson started a new series too, to where they travel. And I mean, that's great for the sport. Like, you got all these different, so it's also a new opportunity for you. Like, you start getting into all the, every time they create a new series, everybody's got the special thing. You got it patented, I'm sure, to where your monkey bar system, you're the only one that can sell it, correct? Yeah. So, are you starting to see some interest from those areas that are wanting to get you involved because they see the safety value in it? Right. Word travels fast, don't it?
Yeah, it's just that's what it is. It's the drivers that talk about it, and social media. But, we had a discussion at with the wife, okay, with Lisa.
Nothing gets done without Lisa, I'm understanding. Yeah.
No, it doesn't. And so
Shout out, Lisa.
we're big into dirt bikes, so my whole social media following, you understand, is dirt bikes.
Yeah, I knew that.
The logo, it's a recognizable logo in the dirt bike world. So when we were coming out with the sprint car thing, it's like, do we start a different website, different business, different name, different social media, the whole deal? And my wife's like, no, we don't. We run it on the same website, same social media, the same deal. We've earned our stripes.
Yeah, man.
We've earned our stripes, and let's go ahead and make that decision to go ahead and do it. And I was like, I don't know if there was a right answer or wrong answer, but that's the one we went with.
Again, she was right. Lisa, you were right.
Yeah. So there's crossover.
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't believe the crossover I get from a lot of those sprint car guys. They either got a buddy that raced dirt bikes, or they used to race dirt bikes, and they're like, "Hey, my buddy's got you."
Racers will race tricycles as grown men if there's a chance to win.
That's right.
So I think it's just part of it, man. Like you got. I think Jimmy Johnson, who was one of the greatest, he was an off-road truck racer at one time. He was a motocross guy. And then he translates that somehow into NASCAR and becomes one of the winningest drivers of all time, one of the greatest.
It's the way they see things and that hand-eye coordination and the way that
And Travis Pastrana, this dude can race anything.
Oh, yeah, he races anything.
Kyle Larson, I believe right now to this day, the greatest race car driver I've ever seen in my life, because that guy can get into anything and win. He's competitive at everything. And he races somewhere literally every night, I think. I don't think the guy takes days off. I think when he gets out of the NASCAR, that night he goes somewhere to some short track somewhere in this country, and he don't care where it's at. It could be in, Piedmont, Alabama or somewhere if they got a track. I don't know where that is. Yeah.
Off he goes.
He goes, man.
Yep.
And he's winning. And it helps the local people too because it gets them more draw. He's great for the sport. Him and Casey Kane and people like that.
Yep.
Tony Stewart, when they show up at these little independent race tracks, it helps everybody.
Oh, yeah.
It grows the sport. And then people like Dale, they love that because they get to test themselves against the best,
That's right.
And if they can win, and I know Dale takes pride in that. Sometimes he beats them. Yeah. And he's like, man, I ain't going to tell you, I beat Tony Stewart last night. He told me that sometimes a few years ago. I'm like, well, you feeling good? He goes, man, wouldn't you? And I'm like, yes, I would, because he's probably one of the best sprint car racers ever. Yep. Another guy that can drive anything. He was an IndyCar champion, and then he became a NASCAR champion, and then we know what he does in the world of sprint cars. So yeah, man, it's just it's in your blood, and it is. And I think they'll literally race anything, like you said, like the crossover between motorcycles and sprint cars. It could be motorcycles and boats, and you would still have a good crossover following. So your wife was right about that, and she probably understood that about just racers being racers.
She did.
So
I think it was the right decision. Hey, it's the one we went with. Anyway.
Yeah, it worked.
It
worked. Yeah. When I see XC Gear, before I knew you and before I knew your association with Dale, I just realized they did something for motorsports. That's what I seen. So I didn't really identify it as like, I knew you were creating stuff, and as I got more into it and I started, your videos, by the way, are very, educational, the way that you do your TikToks. You try to teach when you're doing this stuff. Yeah. So that's how I learned about it. I go, well, what's XC Gear? And I get on there and I'm like, oh, he's creating bushings for, so you teach a lot of times on how you create your products and stuff. And that's pretty informative because then people who are not aware of it, they can go, well, man, this thing's been killing me. I need some of those bushings in my, and you got different levels to it. So there's different, elasticities to your polymers to where, I'm sorry, I'm not well spoken enough to durometer. There you go. That's the word I was looking for. So, but to different levels to where somebody wants them a little softer, stiffer, whatever. You got it for them, and same way probably with the monkey bar system. Right. Right
now we just have one polymer, and it's on that.
But it has to take the load though. Like there's a specific load, the 80 Gs you talked about. Gs. So it has to be really, really overbuilt in order for it to work properly. So gotcha.
Right now we're going to do some. I realize that we could be better at what we're doing, and we're going to continue to push toward being better. And there's a window there somewhere. I don't know if that window, like right now we designed around 170 pounds. I don't know if that window is 220 pounds at the high end and 130 pounds at the low end. I don't know what that window is, but this next round of testing will kind of tell us that window.
Yeah, because you get a guy that's 120 pounds, it's a different load, and like, he may need to be a little less stiff, per se. So I get that. Yep.
So we'll get to that. But when we started with the Mako, we had one polymer, we had one large bar polymer, one sharp bite polymer. It takes 3 polymers to make the Mako work. 2 bar polymers, sharp bite polymer in the middle. And when we started, we only had 1 bar polymer and 1 sharp bite polymer that everybody could ride. You could ride it, I could ride it, little kids could ride it, everybody could ride it. And then we made it better over time. And what ended up happening is the bar polymers all got softer and the sharp bites all got stiffer. So they went opposing directions. And now we got, 4 different bar polymers and 4 different sharp bites. And it's been that way for probably 5 years.
So, yeah, and then you go, of course, you love bikes, you ride bikes. So, probably your daily driver is a bike hauler. I just seen it outside. Yeah. So he's got this cool van. I don't know. I think it's cool.
I think you think it's cool just because maybe I'm older than you, but we're We're a little bit close in age.
We are pretty close, yeah.
I understand that the young people don't think the vans are cool.
No, I don't want a van like a wagon. Yeah, I don't want that.
Yeah, no.
That van, though.
I like the van.
You can load that dude up with some stuff.
It's so
and it looks
practical.
good, and you got it wrapped cool, and it's got your logo, and it's very practical. Yeah,
it's super
you got
practical.
it blacked out on the windows, like you could live in there for sure. Yeah.
I love my van.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Everybody laughs. I drive that van everywhere.
Well, I mean, it's a billboard for your company too. Like it's cool, it's big, and then right in the back, guess what? You can put 2 full-size dirt bikes.
Hey, you're gonna like this thing better. So that's a 4-wheel drive 1-ton dually van.
Awesome. Yeah, I need one of those.
Yeah, Dale didn't know that either.
I didn't know it either. I need one though.
That's a 4-wheel drive 1-ton dually.
Wow, man.
And it rides pretty good.
Does it?
Yeah.
Yeah. You obviously done put your suspension parts on it. You probably got a monkey bar system on that thing.
No, it won't go fast enough. I don't need that thing.
But again, it just goes back to the innovation that you have. You're always ongoing, figuring out how to make your product better. You don't settle for we've made it. You're looking for new ways, for new technologies to improve upon the systems you have, or create something just totally new, like the monkey bar system itself. That was something just, how many years were you in business before you came up with that?
I started working on the patents for the foot pegs in 2014, and we didn't start working on the monkey bar until we're in 2026, probably 2023 when we started working on the monkey bar.
Yeah, pretty amazing. So quite a while. And then all of a sudden you got this new direction that presents itself. So shout out to your buddy that worked for you that came up and said, hey, man, I've got some people that's really getting injured in this sport, and it just took him just walking in an office with a guy that had the knowledge and the know-how, and then you connect with an old friend you didn't even know, that was full circle, and because it just goes to show you people are meant to be in your lives. You know what I mean?
100%.
Yeah, 100%. They come full fold. I don't know. Me and you met out of the way, it's just kind of wild, and I started calling you about some other stuff, and it's kind of here we are, and I was like, I need to promote this guy. He's got a great story. And
I saw you on TikTok first. I was like, and your shows, like I told you before, it's a really easy, smooth listen.
Good, thank you.
So I enjoyed listening to it, so I kind of got sucked in, and I was like, well, and I listened, and then I watched another one, and then another one, and I'm like, Local Yokel, and then one time you had a subtitle or something that said Hernando or something after a while, and I'm like, Hernando, this cat's in Hernando? Yeah. And then, so I start looking,
Yeah. And, thank you for that. I mean, that's the goal. We just want to spotlight local people doing amazing things. That's what it's about. Yeah. Sometimes it's charity and giving back and things of that nature. In your case, I always said, you got to have a way of giving back on this show. I think in your way, you're providing, obviously you've created a great business in the community that you're working with from our local community, right here in the area, but also, the safety factors that are involved in what you're providing as a service to people. Because I remember growing up and it just being difficult to ride some bikes. You know what I mean? They were just too stiff and too much power and jar. And especially when you graduated from a 125 to a 250 to a 500. I mean, it got serious after a certain, and I was a big guy. So I was having to grow, as I was growing, I was having to get bigger bikes. And I just remember but I'm still 15. I know I'm on a 600R or whatever, but man, just taking that punishment over and over and over, you found out a way to kind of, I guess, reduce that quite a bit through the,
Some guys just do it because it's more comfortable, and they can have longer days on the bike. And everybody kind of, I want to say that few people ever find their groove in life, I'm going to say that you're where you need to be right now. This is your groove.
Oh, me?
And yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. I think
got
you're
you.
good at it.
Yeah.
You enjoy it. I can tell by talking to you that you enjoy it.
I do.
And
I wish it paid money. I said that'd be good. It cost me money, actually.
Yeah. I'm hoping that comes, as you continue your journey, But everybody's got their jam, and the Lord kind of, I'm not special in any type of way. I'm not smarter than anybody else. There's nothing extraordinary about me at all. Why the Lord chose me and put those thoughts in my head, I can't tell you that. I don't know.
Right.
I can't answer that. But it gave me the thoughts and then helped me push through it, So, and then one thing led to another thing and led to another thing, So I feel like that's what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
This is where I'm supposed to be doing. And my gift, I watched a sermon one day of a preacher, and the preacher said, if you ever look at a peach tree, the peach tree produces fruit, and the fruit of that peach tree is the peach. But the peach, the fruit, the peach, the tree never gets to consume the fruit.
Right.
It doesn't get to enjoy the fruit.
Right.
It's for the other people that come by. And I think that's what I'm supposed to be doing is my fruit is helping other people enjoy things on the dirt bike and hopefully keep them walking in the sprint car.
Yeah.
So they never end up, in a wheelchair the rest of their life.
Right.
Right,
like I said, that's where you're giving back. You're giving these great, you had a fruitful idea, if you want to allow to that, and then it goes on and it helps so many people.
Yeah.
So it's really good.
I enjoy doing it, and I feel like it's my mission, if you want to call it. You know what I mean? It's not just I go into work and then I go home.
Yeah.
It's like, I got to do this as good as I can do this job. This is what I'm going to do. The Lord has put me in this place, and I'm going to try to do it as best I can.
It allows you to be creative, too. Because, like the
it.
stuff that you come up with, like just the colors and, of your products. And obviously, you could make black, all kind of rubber polymers, but you put some flavor in them, and that's important.
You know, there's a funny story behind the colors.
Okay.
All right. So, when I told you just a while ago, we had one set of polymers in the monkey bar.
Yeah.
The Mako 360. It was green bar polymers and a green sharp bite, and that was what we had. That was actually a mistake.
Was it?
So it's hard to tell our story without Andrew DeLong. Andrew DeLong was a Rockstar Husqvarna rider. He's real famous. His little brother's a Rockstar Husqvarna now, Craig DeLong. Talked to Craig today, talked to Andrew the other day. Great family out of Pennsylvania. And the Lord put Andrew in my life, a happenstance, a crazy deal.
Yeah.
When I was working on the foot pegs, long story short, you can't tell our story without Andrew DeLong, but when we first broke into the big time and ended up on a factory bike, which was a Rockstar Husqvarna bike of Andrew DeLong, I got a phone call. They tested it at the factory and like, hey, this thing's awesome. He can ride longer and faster with this than any of the other stuff we got. We need one for this weekend for the National. So I get on the telephone and I call Jill at Bailey Parks Urethane. They're in Memphis up on Gilbert Street. That's where they make all my polymers. And I called Jill and said, Jill, this is real important. Yeah. Bad important. But I need a set of 50 durometer Mako 360 bar polymers in fluorescent yellow, because Rockstar is yellow, black and yellow. That's the colors of Rockstar. Yeah. And I need.
By the way, Rockstar energy drinks.
Rockstar energy
They were the
drink.
Sponsors of this guy, right? Yeah. Gotcha.
And I need the Sharp Bite in flow yellow as well. Okay, that's what we got to have, and I got to have them on Thursday because I got to next day air this thing to Missouri by Friday. Blah blah blah. She's like, okay, we'll do it. They call me, hey, we got your polymers ready. We ran a special deal. We got them ready. And I drive up there all excited, and I cut the box open, and they're green. Oh, wow. I know. And they're green. It's too late.
It's too late to change anything. So you got the spray paint. You just got to go out. Yeah.
I'm like, Jill, they're supposed to be yellow. No, you said green. I'm like, Jill, it's supposed to be yellow. And so anyhow, that's how they ended up green. So everybody asked me, why did they end up green? Well, that was actually a mistake.
It worked out good, though.
It worked out good. They were yellow, but we went with green, and then once that happened, we just stayed with green.
Right. And now, and with your other stuff, too, I noticed, colors have something to do with the durometer of them, right? Like, so you from the load that it'll take or whatever. So you got yellows, reds, blacks, greens, whatever, blues. I don't know what all you got. But anyway, that has something to do. It makes it easy for people to identify what
that's the reason they're colored.
Yeah, that's right.
Because they'll never remember the number.
No.
They're not going to remember the number. I don't want them to. The only thing they got to remember is the color.
Hey, guys, I want to talk to you about my primary sponsor, RoofWorks Roofing Company. Reach out to them today at 662-303-0345 for all your roofing needs. They're a great company, great people, and they will back their work up. RoofWorksMidSouth.com. And if you're looking for a new employment opportunity, they're currently looking for new salespeople as business has really picked up after these storms. So give them a shout out again at 662-303-0345 or RoofWorksMidSouth.com. We talked about all the cool stuff you do in your business, and we talked a little bit. We get started at a time, but what I know you from is you were in a similar business I was in, much bigger level, of course, but you were in the dirt business for a long time. And so probably, I guess in 2014 or 15, or I don't know when you sold out, but like
2022.
Was it 2022?
Yeah.
You finally got out of it.
Yeah.
You were partners with a couple of guys here locally called Tri Firma.
Yep.
Yeah. And it was a big outfit. Y'all had a lot of work and all that good stuff, but like y'all just all came to an end with it.
Yep.
So talk to people about where you come from, how do you got to that point, and then you grew up here locally, I'm assuming. You know, so just tell them that quick story.
Oh, let's see. Where would I start? So
1970,
1968, I was born at the Baptist Hospital, brought home to South Haven, lived in South Haven my whole life.
Yeah.
My dad was still is a practicing civil engineer, home builder, developer. He's not building homes and doesn't develop that much anymore, but he was doing all that. I worked for him, in school summers and all that stuff, and then went to college. Was going to be a civil engineer, did 2 semesters of that, decided, man, I don't want to do that. I ended up getting a degree in marketing and finance out of Ole Miss. Graduated Ole Miss, came back. I found a job with the tenant company, the floor sweepers.
Yeah.
Clean up warehouse floors and all that stuff. And my dad got me hooked up with a guy, and I was going to move to Dallas, Texas, and work for the tenant company. But it was like 6 months before I could get a job. And my dad was like, well, I got these lots over here in Hickory Ridge Estates and Walls.
Yeah, I live over there. Yeah.
In Hickory Ridge?
No, but I mean close, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got these lots over here because he was in partners with the Chamblises and the Hymans or whatever. All Mullins, and they split up some lots, and Dad had some. He's like, why don't you build a house? You know how to do that. You've been doing it with me, forever. And see if you can sell a house. And built a house, sold it before I ever got the shingles on it. And then I was a house builder from never went
got the bug.
Never went to the
mid-20s, I'm guessing, age-wise. Yeah,
young 20s. Met the wife. I didn't want to move to Dallas. And
not after you met her. Yeah.
Got married to Lisa. Built houses all the way to the year 2000. And then my dad was building... I don't know if you remember at Rasco and Sweeney, almost hometown homes. And they were like weekly, monthly, fully furnished. It was the first time I was in DeSoto County, so it was like traveling executive. If you didn't want to stay in a hotel, you could go there, and it was
What road was this on?
Rasco and Sweeney.
Fully
furnished, full-size fridge.
But anyway, gotcha, right, yeah. So like
I got to build.
Like the first, I guess what they call them now, those Airbnbs type thing.
Yeah,
it's kind of like that.
Like them. It was like 40 of them or something. And he was like, and I was framing houses too. I was framing myself and running framing crews and building houses. And he was like, why don't you come to work for me and do this job, and I had a lot of reservations. I was like, man, I don't know if I want to go get a job,
Yeah, work with my dad.
And I'd worked with him before he fired me. Unbelievable. He was bad on me. And I went to work for him, and it was great. I learned a lot. I soaked up everything I could from him. I worked for him for 2 years, and it was great. It's funny how the Lord works again, but prior to that, I never had health insurance.
Right.
And then I had a bad knee injury, which leads to the exit gear later, we'll talk about. And then my wife had her first brain tumor.
Oh, my
goodness.
While
I was working for my dad, and I had insurance. We would have never recovered from that first brain tumor. I worked for him for 2 years, and then I started developing on the side on my own, and doing little things. And ended up going into business with Matt and Memphis, hence the Tri. That was 3 people. Tri.
Yeah, Matt Campbell.
Matt Campbell and
Memphis Williams. Yeah. Yep. Two other local guys.
Yep. And Firma is Latin for hard, so it's a play on words. It was try hard.
Okay, cool.
Okay, Tri Firma.
Yeah.
And then we did that we started that in 05. Memphis and I bought Matt out in 07, and then we continued to work even through all that tough times.
08, 09, 10. It was rough, man. That's
bad.
It was tough on me. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie to you.
It was horrible.
It was hard.
It was horrible. And there from what everybody calls it, the 2008 financial crisis, but it really hit the second quarter of 07.
It did.
Is when I saw it hit,
Fuel prices went through the roof.
Oh, my gosh.
Like it is now. Yeah.
It was horrible. You know how it was.
I feel like it's going to collapse right now.
Yeah, it was bad. And so I was on defense, mentally on defense, going to work every day, trying, and really my only brain thought was, how did I not go broke this week? And I got to make payroll on Friday, And I did that from 07 all the way to 2014, somewhere in there.
Oh, it was a long time before we got back, like before people really started making money, and
I know,
and big companies were coming in and wanting big jobs done. I mean, it was really a long time. To me, it was all direct of that fuel crisis, man. It really goes back to the fuel costs, because that made everything go up, and it sucked all the money out of the system. And guess who made all the money? Oil companies.
It wasn't us.
It was oil companies.
Yeah, it wasn't me.
Yeah. I remember Exxon having record quarterly profits back then, and I was like, how does this make sense? Like
everybody.
And I think it's going to happen again if we're not careful here now, where we're at right now. Because once they get them up, they don't want to bring them down.
No.
I can remember back then literally having to put more in my fuel tank a day than I could make. In my dump truck. And that's heartbreaking. You know what I mean? How many people want to go to work and then, like, in your tank you got to put $400 or $500 every day? You know what I mean? I know. It was ridiculous.
Dude, you're going to find this crazy. And my wife says that nobody else would ever do this. I went to work for 2.5 years and never drew a paycheck.
I believe that.
Never drew a paycheck.
Yep.
My wife was, she's been selling real estate for 32 years.
Yeah.
And we've always laughed about it. It would be awesome if both of us were making money at the same time.
If it ever happened.
If it ever happened. You were making money and I was making money, but the Lord saw to it that we made it. She was working and I was going to work, just trying to keep from going broke is really what I was trying to do.
There's a lot of people lost it back then, like lost their businesses, everything. So the fact that y'all came out shows that you and Memphis were doing something right. Working hard.
We were trying
harder.
we were trying. I just didn't want to file bankruptcy. I was like, well, look, there's some of these people I can't pay right now, and I would rather them say, well, it took him a long time to pay me than he never paid me.
Right.
So you just work through it, and we eventually, got everything done.
Cleaned up. Yeah.
And then in 18, when I started XC Gear, and I started it in 17. January the 1st, 17 is kind of when it went live, you know what I mean? And I knew that it was going to, the upside for it was bigger than Tri Firma because the world's a big place.
Yeah.
And that website is running 24 hours a day.
Tri Firma is local. Yeah, it's very local with a lot of competition with the same products, same ideas, same workers. Matter of fact, you're trading off supervisors and
that's right.
And general managers constantly in your world. People don't know what they did with Tri Firma. They were in construction, big dirt projects, hauling materials, dump trucks, bulldozers, graders. I mean, y'all did it all, and you worked a lot for the city of South Haven and other places like the municipalities.
Almost 20 years I worked for the city of South Haven.
Right, yeah. And I remember up there one day, this is funny, just a side note, I'll never forget this because I got a ticket. As soon as it was back in probably like 2020, maybe late, I don't know, it might have been sooner than that, 2018. They put up them signs, no truck signs all over South Haven, and they were tearing ass on all of us, man.
They put a sign up on Rasco right in front of Tri Firma. Remember when I was at Rasco and Sweeney, and they come and nailed a no truck sign, and we got all the truck. I'm like,
they were literally giving y'all tickets.
Get out of the driveway,
and you're working for the city, like literally working for the city, and it was just the most diabolical thing I'd ever seen. I mean, I guess I don't know who made that decision. I'm not going to say it was the mayor because he may have not, but whoever did, go write the tickets. And it was like, Tri Firma, of all people, were working for y'all. Like, there are some limits to this, Like,
we carried.
And those tickets were serious back then. They're like $1,200 or $1,300.
We had a letter signed by Judge Perry. You remember Judge Perry? God rest his soul.
Yeah.
We had a letter from Judge Perry that we laminated and put it in all the trucks.
Yeah.
And we would have to carry that
to show the cops.
Yeah, but it was after, like, you know, when you get one of those new cops and they're all hungry, you know, they're fixing to pull this guy over and run him through the ringer, you know. And I can remember one time we got pulled over on Church Road, and I was begging the guy. I was like, please. I pulled up, you know, they pulled one of my dump trucks over, and I pull up, what are you here for, the whole deal, you know. He's trying to do his job.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, don't write the ticket.
Yeah.
Just, I'm telling you.
You're wasting your time.
Don't write the ticket. And I begged him, and I was so nice. And then he was like, you need to leave, or I'm fixing to write you one. And I was like, dude, please don't do that. I'm fixing, don't. And I was begging him. And then, of course, he does, you know, and writes it up. Then I make the phone call, you know, and I'm like, hey, fix this deal for me. And then, you know, and they.
Well, I think what it was, if they said everything but dump trucks, you know, I mean, it would have helped a lot. Or somebody that's hauling materials.
I know.
Yeah, to a construction site. But when they said just no trucks, I mean, I think they were talking about 40-footers trying to cross town. But these guys, they didn't see it that way. And I remember, like, a guy, he goes, well, you know, my boss told me not to hold court on the side of the highway. And I said, okay, well, then good enough. I was like, I guess you need to write me a ticket, sir. So I had to take a day off work, lose that money, and go to court, and then have. So I don't think that the ones, the powers that be, understand the money behind what they cost us is way more than the ticket. You know what I mean? Oh, yeah. Then you got to go to court, and you got to go to a prosecutor that's got some sense and goes, well, how the heck are you supposed to get it in there?
Yeah, we all live in houses, and somebody in a dump truck.
You're supposed to helicopter a load of dirt over to Sweeney?
How are we going to do that?
So that was just a side note, real quick, guys. That was something funny that I thought about. I was back in the day when we were all going through that. And I remember very specifically, y'all were working for the city of South Haven.
And getting tickets.
I know. It was the craziest thing ever.
Yeah, we got a bunch of them.
Yeah, which is wild because you were working for them. That was what's so crazy. So whoever was a mayor or anything back then, I don't know. But like, geez, you know, I even had a buddy reach out to the PD and the mayor's office. Like, no, we can't help you. We can't do anything for you. I'm like, man, is it that serious with the money? I mean, you know, I don't know. I mean, at some point you got to realize who's building the homes, that's paying the taxes. You know, like you got to figure it out, you know. But again, you were ramping up through 2018, XC Gears taking off. Through that area, and you've seen the upside because you're in a world where it's super competitive and like you're making money, you're probably doing good, but you're not excited anymore. You know what I mean? And your creative juices are flowing from XC Gear, so you just see to ramp it up a little bit. Yeah.
And I knew that eventually I was going to have to step away from Tri Firma. I knew that was coming, you know, and so I knew that conversation was coming, and so I bought Mifus out in 2018 and just did it
by yourself for a while.
You know. And then tell you the whole story. We'll just really get down into the weeds. But somebody approached me and wanted to buy me out, you know, in 2022. And I was like, okay, you know, this kind of works. And I gave them the number I sold to Jamie Harris. You know, is who I sold to, M&H. Yeah. And I feel like, you know, I'm a businessman. You got to leave enough meat on the bone for somebody else. Sure. And I gave LJ a number. Never dickered $5.
That's awesome.
He looked at it, said, "It's worth that, and I'll buy it." And I was like, "Okay, done deal." Cool. Took about 60 days. LJ was smart about it. He met with all the employees. He said, I want to talk to all the employees before you.
Oh, that's a big problem because a company ain't nothing without the people. You know, so
there was two other people looking at Tri Firma and looking at the books, and they looked at everything from top to bottom. I'm talking about over and over and over and over. LJ was the only one that I feel that looked at it in the right way. You know what he did? He said, the average age of your superintendents and your crews is 20 years younger than my guys.
Yeah.
My guys are aging out. Your guys are 20 years younger. They're already trained. They already know the work. They know what to do. Yeah. You got clean, nice equipment. Yeah. What have I got to lose? He's actually took the employees. I had every employee win except one. Right. And they all went to LJ. And of course, they're better funded than I was.
Oh, shoot. Yeah, they're huge.
Yeah, they're huge. Yeah. So they all got new trucks and better insurance. Well, I don't know if they got better insurance. Yeah. Our insurance is pretty doggone good. But they got newer vehicles and better.
But it benefited them, benefited you, got you in a place you need to be. They took over some business that they probably needed, and they needed those young guys too.
Yeah, they needed those young guys, you know. And
that's awesome.
He was the only one that looked at it that way.
Yeah, the rest of them just look at the money.
And they were just looking at the money, you know, and I'm like, and they're not looking at the people, but the people is where it was at. Without the people, you don't have anything.
You can't get it.
No.
Yeah.
And so he's a smart guy. You know, he's young too.
Yeah. I don't know him.
Yeah, he's young. Yeah. He's 20-something years younger than me. Okay. I think, to me, he's almost a kid. But
it's been a while.
He's a grown man, but he's a smart guy.
Well, good on them. I know they're still out there working. They're growing. They're doing their thing. Yeah. So there's a lot of big outfits around here. But again, it goes back to, like, why do I want to fight this battle? Every time I bid a job, I'm up against him. Not him, just him, by the way. You got 40 other guys around here that's grown for over a long time, that started something back in the late 90s or 2000s, or even in some cases like them, you know, M&H, Malcolm, you know, he was around for how long before those guys got up there, you know?
I was never going to get that big because after 2008, I was gun
scared.
Shy.
Oh man, anybody would be.
I stayed in my, I found after we pared down after the crisis, and I'm like, hey, I'm staying in this lane right here. This lane's safe. I'm not trying to take over the world no more. You were smart
because there's guys right now out there that they can't get enough equipment. They just think it's like take over the world. I'm telling you, man, one bad thing happens and it's over. You know, it's
just
gone.
Like that.
You can't sell that equipment when nobody's willing to buy it. You know, everybody's in the same boat.
I know that very well. That it don't matter when there's no buyers.
Yeah.
You know,
that's the tough part,
and that's what happened in 07. So after that happened, I was already like, hey, this is my lane. I'm staying in my lane.
Try to survive it. Yeah, like that's the thing. And you can live a good life and have, you know, a good family. You don't have to make it all. I kind of sometimes wonder with these big guys, like, when's enough? You know what I mean? Like, is it a game of just making more? Or is it just trying to dominate? What is it? You know? But then you think about, well, if you don't got them guys, you don't get innovation, you don't get job growth, you don't get any of that stuff. So you need a little bit of both, you know, like it just works out. Some of them are just wildly out of control though with the growth. Like if they could take over every job in this whole area, they would in a second, you know, and laugh at you on your way down. That's just how they see things. But that's okay. I don't want to need to associate with those people. You know, I love to see everybody succeed. And I like to see growth. I like to see happy. I like to see you take care of your employees. That's the thing. And, you know, it tells me a lot about that guy. I don't even know him, but the way he looks at them as they're valuable. You know what I mean? As employees, he looked at your people as being the most valuable thing you had. All the equipment's important, yes, but without the people, they're not worth anything.
You know, he sold just about everything I had.
Really? He just wanted your people. That's crazy.
Sold about everything that I had. He kept a lot of the Caterpillar pieces, you know, but I had some off-brand stuff too, but all the Cat stuff I had, he kept all the Cat stuff or most of it, and then Mayo got rid of it.
Yeah.
Well, no, he took over the lead after that first set of skid steers that we bought back in 2005. I figured out a long time ago, back in 05, that I've never built equity in the skid steer.
No.
And never built equity in it, and I was never going to own another one.
No, you just rent them.
You just lease them. Yeah. I would lease them 2 years, turn them in, get 2 more.
Yeah.
Gone.
I think I've got some guys in the business, if you can afford it and you're at that level to where you need them every day, leasing is way better because you got a full-time mechanic. You got everything involved. You know, it comes with it.
Right.
Yeah, and especially with those things, they can drop one off as soon as it breaks and have another one, you know, like on a job.
I know.
You know, so it's pretty cool. Like when you think about it like that, I advise my friends instead of buying leasing, you know, sometimes. But people want to own stuff though. Lance, that's the problem behind that.
I understand that. I owned everything except skid steers.
Yeah.
You can make exceptions.
Yeah. That's
but I owned everything except skid steers. We were so rough on skid steers. You know, if you got a guy that's just doing landscaping and he's just pushing dirt with it
that's
or
okay.
something,
It'll last forever.
It'll last forever. But if you're loading riprap and running on asphalt, busting concrete, jumping curves, loading dump trucks,
you'll wear one out fast.
Yeah, 2 years, they need to go find another home.
Absolutely. And back then they were fairly affordable. They were high, but man, now a good one, you're talking about $100,000.
I know.
Yeah, it's nuts. Or more. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. And like for that thing to make money, I mean, you got to be working it every day.
I know.
You know, so I don't even live in that world no more. You know, I probably do it as easy as you can do it, like the way I do my stuff. So, but getting back to the growth of where you're at, so when you finally sell it off, you can double down and get just straight focused on XC gear at that point. So that's where you probably see the real growth take off. And along about this time, you start developing the monkey bar system within a year. So you've really scaled up in the last 3 or 4 years.
Yep. Yeah, we did.
So you go from a little shop probably in South Haven, right?
When we started XC Gear, we were working out of really the dining room.
Yeah.
And we hired, we wasn't machining anything ourselves.
Right.
So we had a company down in Water Valley, a bunch of nice people, Valley Tool in Water Valley, Mississippi. They were doing all the machining, and they were actually warehousing and doing the order fulfillment.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the orders come through on the website, and they would fulfill the, they were doing all that, and we were paying them to do all that. And, everybody has gifts, and there's a lot of companies in this world that can run their inventory from a remote location. That's obvious by all the stores you see everywhere.
Sure,
and there's
everywhere.
Not, the owner's not sitting in the store. But we tried two different computer systems, and with, my personality and the wife's personality, we sucked at it. we wasn't any good at it.
At least you own it.
Yeah, we owned it. We didn't do any good. And we were like, hey, the only way we can fix this is to start doing our own inventory.
Yeah.
And build a building.
Yeah.
And we had enough forethought back then when we built that building on Airways, that we may evolve into start machining ourselves and start doing that. So we were stupid. And so we built the building, moved in, and we had it wired so we could run machines inside that building. And to start, it was really hard, but it was really good we did it.
Yeah.
So to start machining is one thing.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a whole big deal. If you're going to start machining your own stuff, that's one thing. To start machining with extrusions is another harder step. So an extrusion, are you familiar with
I know what
extrusion?
extruder is.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we would start machining with extrusions, and that is hard too, because a lot of extrusions there's not like a block of billets, So we bought our own tooling, had our tool, paid for our own tooling, so we get the parts extruded for us. Well, they're harder to hold in the machine. So and we started with a robot. So we started machining with an extrusion and robotic, because I know that's the way the world's
That's the future going. Did you see my show I did with those robotic kids that was in here? They won the Governor's Cup right after that show, and they wound up recently, after that show aired, they had already won it, like just recently. That's amazing, though.
I know.
But that's the future.
That's the future.
And that's the thing that they're working on. It's not like robots like we're thinking about. They're looking at manufacturing robots. Is how they're looking at, repeated tasks.
That's what I do with mine.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
That's what I do with mine.
And they know there's a future in that. And that's something that like schools need to teach more of and stuff. And
100%.
Yeah, I mean, that's something they were talking about. And there's some teams here locally. I mean, obviously they're ranked like in the top in the world. There's like 7,000 or 8,000 teams, and they're ranked like in the top 5 in the world. That's pretty incredible. Right here in Mississippi, DeSoto County of all places. So yeah. So, getting that type of stuff and you having the forethought to think about where this could be, like you called yourself stupid earlier. Not really. You're just figuring out better ways to do it. And sometimes an education costs money, no matter how you get it, whether it's through books or through a hard lesson learned, like, shoot, I don't need to do that again. So that's how you and I learn, the uneducated, so to speak. And then, at your age, here you are in your mid 50s and you're trying to be innovative and start something new, man, that's pretty crazy. Like at the end of the day, when you think about it, like you don't see yourself like that. In our mind's eye, we still see ourselves as that young 25-year-old trying to get it. We just physically are not those guys anymore. So it's just, but your mind, when you can look at it and go, man, I'm just going to do this stuff. I've lived my life told. I've done the same way. Like when I'm done with something, I'm done with it. If there's an easy way out, I'll get out. If there's a hard way out, I'll get out. If I'm done with it, I'm done with it. And I'll find a new way to make a living or whatever it is. So I understand that. But so you get in and you start ramping up. You go from South Haven, you decide to build a building, and then you start kind of getting in. And by the way, how big is that facility?
The one in South Haven or new one in Coldwater?
Coldwater.
7,500 in Coldwater.
It's a big shop that you got. It's pretty good size from where you were at.
From nothing, and then we were in 3,600 in South Haven.
Yeah, so you're doubling just in a couple of years, and that's amazing. You know what I mean? Because you need the space, and you are scaling up at your needs. And I'm sure where you're at now, you can add on if you need to at the point. So that's good. I bet your wife probably decided that was a good decision for y'all.
She did.
Yeah, it wasn't you.
She said our goal in a year and a half, we're adding on to the back of the building. That's what she thinks is we're adding on just today. Well, he won't finish till tomorrow, but right before I left to come to your show, they should have been finished with our second robot. So we bought another robot.
Pretty cool.
And by tomorrow, he'll have it up and running.
Yeah, so it helps you with tasks in the building. It's all kinds of working and like just the production of the products and everything. Because you're doing CNCing and extruding and everything. So.
Yeah, you know how many hours a week that one robot's running?
How much?
123 hours a week.
Good Lord. And I mean, everybody thinks like, well, just putting me out of a job. You couldn't do that job.
You can't do it.
You can't do it.
You could put a person, that's what I try to tell everybody, you could put a person on that seeing machine and a person's going to outrun it for a short period of time, for 4 hours.
But it gets fatigued.
Yeah, but he's got to go to lunch. He's just going to get tired. He can't do it that long, you know? Yeah. And it still requires the same amount of people. Yeah. But we just get a lot more out. We're just squeezing.
So it's not eliminating a job, by the way. If anything, it creates one, because you got to have somebody that programs it, tells it what to do, stays on top of it, manages it, so to speak, and it keeps you from having to worry about this thing's just working. You know, it sounds like a dozer. So like you and I could get out there with 100 shovels, right? Mm-hmm. You know, back in the day, 100%. That's how they used to do it, mules and shovels. Right. But then some guy comes up with this motorized track machine with a blade on it and just eliminates a whole bunch of hard labor. Yep. And it still takes people to run them. You know, it takes a lot of people to build them. It created jobs overall, but you just ain't having to do that hard, intensive labor. It's the same thing, you know. And I always tell people like that, you know, back in the day, I remember in the 80s, they're talking about, well, they're building cars now, robots are building. They were doing that back in the 80s, you know, eliminating jobs. Yeah, but man, you start going to computer programming and stuff like that. You somebody had to run those things. That's right. You know what I mean? They're not, you know, to where they can run themselves. I mean, that probably is coming in the future. That's what people are afraid of with AI. Yeah. But you still have to have somebody in the manufacturing side to program and run these things efficiently. 100%. Yeah, because they can go offline. They can forget what they're supposed to be doing, you know. Oh, yeah. It's just a repetitive task over and over and over. And over. So.
And we made that decision back then, and we didn't want to, you know, you get advice from all kinds of people, especially if you were like us and you don't know anything. So we used to apologize to everybody. Look, please forgive us, because this is the first time we're facing this. Yeah. You know what I mean? We may not get it right the first time, but we're new. We had never done this before, and there's no book out there that's going to tell you how to do it. But our business model that we have will not allow us to do it without robots. Yeah. Because we manufacture here in the United States, and we pay very good wages. We pay high wages. And we have high caliber people. Yeah. You know? So we're not looking for just button pushers. We got very smart, competent people that can run our machines and run the robots. Oh, wow. You know? So
I think that the thing you said about American made is really important to people too. And I love that about what y'all are doing. So XC Gear, it's local, American made, American sold. For American people, but like worldwide, if people decide they want to get behind it, because there's people that ride those bikes all over the world. Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially in Europe. Oh, yeah. It's a big market over there because they got the terrain to where you can be on the flat ground 1 minute, and next minute you'll be in the mountains. You know, and so I love that part of it, the way I ride the bikes. And of course, I don't know how big sprint racing is over there, but
there's a lot of it in Australia.
Is it really?
And South Africa.
Okay.
Australia and South Africa, and that's really about it. Yeah. Canada.
A little bit.
United States.
It's definitely an American sport for sure. Like it was started. I mean, I'm sure there's two guys with a chainsaw motor and a go-kart chassis, you know, went out there and just started it. Like, how do we hook these two chainsaw motors together? You know, like I'm sure I would have loved to have been there on those conversations on the innovation of those sports. Same way with NASCAR, when you start thinking about how and why IndyCar, you know, all that stuff, you know, like that started so long ago. It was like, who could build the fastest car? There wasn't a lot of parameters, you know, they just like, who can build the fastest car and let's race them around this circle for ever how long, you know, like, you know, just to watch it innovate over time. So it's the same thing with you know, almost 100 years later, after some of that invention of things that they have for safety, now you've got this new product, you know, that comes up. So it does go to show you that there are new things coming all the time. There's always somebody thinking, and a guy that probably close to retirement decides, I'm going to start something new. You know what I mean? That's kind of cool.
I know. I got friends of mine that are retired. Yeah. You know, that are my age, that's already retired. I'm like, man, that's a furthest thing from my mind.
Yeah, but you love it. It's got your creative juices flowing, you know, and you get to meet cool people, and you're helping them, and you're growing a business that you can leave for your family in the future if they decide to be a part of it or what have you. And that's important too. Yep. And you're also pushing on a legacy for Monkey. Yep. You know, Monkey business for the Monkey Bar. That's right.
So the name's catchy though.
It is. It is. I love it.
Yeah. So that's what we kind of look for when we named everything, you know, all the products. So the handlebar, when I went into the handlebar mount business with the Mako 360, the two biggest competitors when I went in were this right here. The PHDS system. PHD is an acronym. Yeah. And I'm super plugged into that industry. Yeah. And there's a lot of people that's super plugged in, and they're not going to get that acronym right. They couldn't tell you the name. They'll be like PB.
I just forgot it, and you told me.
And then the next one's super hard to say. The SFS, the Smooth Feel System. It doesn't come off the tongue real easy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I was like, definitely not using an acronym.
Yeah.
Definitely not going to use something that nobody can remember.
Sure.
So I kind of already had the name for the sharp bite clamp, from working in the laying pipe. The sharp bite gasket when we would lay big ductile iron pipe under, roads, and you don't ever want to dig it up.
No.
Again, you never want it to come loose. You get one shot
That's
at it.
It's a forever deal.
It's forever.
Yeah.
And so name that, and then was like, we'll name the handlebar mount after Shark. So I'm not Jacques Cousteau. I went to Horn Lake, so they didn't teach a lot of the name.
That's funny. Hey,
Horn
listen,
Lake.
man, I always tell people, you must have went to school in Horn Lake. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a joke. I mean, there's a lot of people around here that went to Horn Lake.
I went to Horn Lake.
So a lot of people went.
And I had some very good teachers, but I do say it as, being funny. I don't want to poke out. And I guarantee there's some of my teachers that are very surprised at me today.
You know Miss Billy Wilhite? You remember Miss Billy Wilhite?
I do remember Miss Wilhite.
She's one of my dearest friends.
Really?
And she's still around. She's very, 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 still fully, like, just all into everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, she's part of my Female Lambs organization that I work with.
I hope she doesn't remember me.
Well, Chris Camp that does the show in here too, it's called Motivate with Coach Camp. I brought her in to do a show, and he didn't realize who she was, and he was shocked. She was his teacher. Yeah. She goes, "I always knew you could be better, Chris." He's like, "Oh," he went right into his whatever age he was when he was talking to her. It's great, So it's funny. Everybody knows her, man. She's been around forever.
Yeah,
so,
I remember her.
but man, like just this whole thing about local. I'm very proud to know you now, and it's like the success you've had in this business and what you continue to do for the community and sponsoring these guys. I know there's a return on it, but like, from a business standpoint, but like you're out to help the community, I mean, it seems to be like you're out there trying to help Dale be more successful. You know what I mean? Because it gives him the dollars to get on the road. People don't realize that it's gas money. It's especially now. Like he probably called you yesterday and was like, "Hey, buddy, I'm gonna need another 30% on top of what you've been giving me for gas money."
He did call yesterday. And remember, I told you yesterday it was like Dirt Man Day because I had you call, I had Robert Estes call, and then I had Dale call. 3 Dirt Man call in one
Robert's
day.
supposed to come on and do a show. Now that thing's gonna be fun,
oh
right?
My gosh.
We're not even gonna talk about dirt. We're just he's just gonna talk about the world.
And
politics.
You told me an hour and a half. Look, it's gonna be. And if you let Robert.
It'll be 4 hours.
I know. If you ask Robert the same amount of questions you ask me, you're going to be here 4 hours.
I'm just going to have to do 2 shows in a row with him. Like, we're just going to have to talk for 3 or 4 hours.
Those, when they do those monster trucks and they have that automatic cut off where they can cut the motor off remote, you just have to cut Robert off. You just be like, all right.
I love it, man.
He's so funny.
He is the best, dude. I love Robert. He's awesome, man. There's not another Robert around here.
He's from Horn Lake, too.
Yeah, I knew that. Yeah, all those guys. Him and Chris Camp graduated together. We're all the same age, by the way.
Yeah, really?
We're all 53.
Yeah.
Or 52 or 53. Yeah. So it's funny. And then, like, Robert, he's just a cool dude.
Yeah, he's a mess.
I mean, he is a mess. And by the way, extremely intelligent. People don't give him enough credit because he's got that good old boy slow. So that guy is smart. He's very smart.
It's a put on.
It's a put on. I think that's right too.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
because let me tell you right now, he could probably be a real good senator. He really would. I know he's talked about doing it again. So he's got some good ideas, man. He really does. So
he's something else.
But man, I just want to thank you for coming in. Is there anything else we want to touch base on that we talked about or didn't talk about that you want to focus on?
Not that I'm aware of.
Give people your contacts real quick, like how to look you up on. I know everything's just XC Gear, right?
XC Gear, yeah. Facebook is XC Gear. Instagram's XC Gear 17. TikTok's XC Gear 17. YouTube's XC Gear.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just look up XC Gear if it says a number behind it, because most people are not going to be using that. That's a pretty unique name.
Yeah.
So, I love that. And I think it's great branding, not to have to go XC Gear Sprint Car, whatever. I think it's just better XC Gear.
I had to buy that name from somebody.
Did you really?
I did.
Good Lord.
XCgear.com. I thought nobody's going to have that.
And somebody had it.
And somebody had it.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I put a buyer on it for, golly, he tried to buy it for, 3 or 4 months. He tried to buy it. And finally, I was like, just give me the guy's number. Let me try the guy. And I put the old country boy, I don't even ended up buying it from him. I told him I wanted it.
Was it expensive?
It was more than I wanted to pay, but he wasn't doing anything with it.
Yeah.
He was running a, believe it or not, ski equipment and snowboard equipment.
Yeah.
He had an online deal and stores, actual brick and mortar stores, and bought that name thinking he was going to use it as well, but he sold skiing equipment.
Yeah, yeah. I get that. Well, I mean, it worked out. He was smart. I guess a way that he got money out of it for not even using it. So hopefully it wasn't in the millions.
No.
You know, I think UFC said they had to buy their name back off of for like $1 million or something like that back in the day. Like
I would have had to change our name.
Yeah, 25 years ago or something like that. I remember them talking about that when they was first. He's like, man, we need to get website presence, and all of a sudden we find out we don't even own it. We don't even own our name. Like some other guy owns his name. So they had to go and buy it off of him, and he was being firm with it, you know.
Oh, yeah.
So, but again, man, just guys, go to his page, follow his stuff. It's pretty amazing. He's very educational. Some stuff's funny, but most of it's educational. And I would like to see more on the sprint car stuff. I'm just not gonna lie to you. I really do like that part of it when you talk about, like, I'm sure they would pull you a whole sprint car up in there. And then you could just go over the whole thing and talk about how the product.
That's a good idea.
It'd be kind of cool, I think, to see how it works inside the car. You know, like NASCAR does that cutaway car. Right. It'd be kind of cool taking an old chassis of his and show how it works inside the system. So I bet it'd get some sales. People see how it works in there.
Yeah. I've got two of them in the shop. I need to do some more videos with this.
Have your wife go in there with a cutoff saw and just cut the car clean in half.
I've got two of them.
Have you got them like that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I got two of them like that.
And then let's do, videos of like, this is where this works. The shock works this way. And blah, 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 So I'm just thinking outside. I don't know a damn thing about what he does, to be honest with you. I'm just talking off the top of my head.
That's okay.
But anyway, man, thank you for coming in. I love you sharing your story. I wish you continued success for Exit Gear and yourself as a person.
And you as well. Thank you for having me.
I'm trying. You're going to start being involved in what we do because we're it's all local stuff. So anytime we can get Exit Gear on board to be a part of our giveaways for our vehicles and our fundraisers and stuff like that, that's just community. That's why we're proud to have those associations, just in support, name, and all that good stuff. So, remember, guys, go buy stuff. He's got merch as well. I know that for a fact. So that's a big part of supporting a program. So the hats, what do you typically get for those?
I think they're $19.
That's pretty cheap for a hat. I think. That's pretty. I mean, even if you paid $30, man, that's good.
I don't know the price on there. You know what my wife tells everybody?
What's that?
He makes stuff and TikToks.
And that's it. That's all he does.
He makes stuff and TikToks.
And then she runs the rest of the business.
And then look, leave him alone. Let him do what he's going to do.
Well, it sounds like it's working however y'all got it going on. So it sounds like Lisa's got it going on over there. So
he makes she says he makes parts. And TikToks.
You do like making TikToks, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. I like to watch them too. It's kind of funny. But anyway, man, thank you for coming in again. And we'll just look for another show real soon. We'll come back and revisit if you get a new product coming out. Always welcome to come here, and we get a new, a new group of watchers and listeners that may not be familiar with the factory from around here. That's what I love to do, is kind of expose you to the local community. So anyway, guys, thank y'all for joining us today. Remember, go to FancyNancyFoundation.com and get you a ticket for the Jeep, or just support the organization, because we give all the proceeds of whatever we do back to some local organization. We're a complete nonprofit, and we're just wanting to help others in our community. All right, guys, till next time, thank you. Bye.